Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Chelsea Explained as Chelsea and Brentford ends in a goalless draw in this West London derby. Collecting a victory here was going to be much needed, of course, as in any game, but especially against a side that's sitting in mid-table, has struggled throughout the whole season. They haven't won at their home ground since in the beginning of December. Brentford, I think they kept their first clean sheet at home this season. We're dropping 2 points. We're having a manager coming out with excuses, don't take any accountability, being very bold with his selection, making 5-6 changes, resting players ahead of Conference League against a Polish side. In this video, I'm gonna honestly sound like a broken record, repeating myself, but we're gonna get through three main issues at this club, and they're gonna hold us back. I really believe that. We're gonna start off with the manager, then about the absolute main point, which is around why some players is not performing. We're gonna finish off with that the mentality is in the bin. So before we dive any deeper further into this video, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my page, and hit that notification bell so you never miss when the content drops. Now, it's not good that you're dropping points against Brentford because it's only 7 games to go before the season ends. We desperately need to gain Champions League football, as everybody knows. And we have Villa, City breathing down our necks in the table just behind us. We have Newcastle that has 2 games in hand. If they collecting points and victories there, they're gonna likely go above us, and then we're sitting in 5th place, and it will get really sweaty towards the end of the season. Now, the problem I have with Maresca is his selection today. A very weird selection, making 5-6 changes. We didn't see the likes of Palmer, Neto, Jackson, Cucurella or Colwill start. I understand Fofana doesn't start because he's out for the rest of the season, so that's why I understand why Chalobah comes into the starting 11. But was it necessary to make this type of changes when we need Champions League football, when we're playing in Premier League against Brentford? Surely you're gonna put out your best 11. Maybe he knows from the medical team's report that some of these players won't be able to play 90 minutes, but at least start with them, let them play 60-65 minutes, then you can bring some of these guys off and play in Nkunku, Sancho, Tariq George, whatever, whoever we have on the bench available to come in. And then you can rest some of the guys so they don't get injured, and then we go again on Thursday in Conference League. It was a bold move, and you can't really say that it helped us. I mean, we dropped 2 points. In the second half, Maresca tried to throw in the kitchen sink, bringing on Neto, Palmer, Cucurella, Jackson, but they couldn't do anything either. I feel like sometimes I don't really understand Maresca's way of thinking. Like, why couldn't he have played some of these guys, bring them off, and then we're playing the squad players in Conference League? Because surely gaining Champions League football is more important than winning Conference League. And you know what? We're gonna jump straight to the mentality when we're talking about Maresca. He's coming after the game and talking about that it was a sunny day, the pitch was dry, and at least we didn't lose, If you can't win, then at least pick a draw. Like, if you have a manager even players that speaks this way. They don't belong here at Chelsea. I don't want this type of Spurs mentality at this club. I can accept that you're losing or drawing if you have done literally everything you can, but it wasn't our day. At least we did everything we could. That can happen because you will draw and lose games. But Maresca coming out and being content with this type of performance and results, and it's not the first time he has done that throughout the season. If you are a player, how can you get inspired by this manager? Unless you're getting played every single game. Because if you're getting game time regularly and consistently in a role that actually suits you, I understand you're gonna be happy. But what if you're a player that constantly being misprofiled and at the same time you're not getting that consistent minute, and at the same time you're being at a club where the owners, directors and manager doesn't really care to 110% about winning? How as a player will you get inspired? I wouldn't get inspired. I would ask to be sold immediately. So we have seen this type of mentality from Maresca throughout the season. He's contradicting with us that we need to gain Champions League football, but on some other occasion it seems like that was never the ambition. We're having him being content with getting knocked out of Carabao Cup and FA Cup. He's coming out being content with a draw. You know, I even fumble on my words now because I can't believe what I'm hearing. Can you imagine Antonio Conte talking in this way? Tuchel talking in this way? Mourinho, Klopp, Guardiola, Hansi Flick, Nagelsmann. Can you really believe that they would talk in this way? Or is Maresca like handed some script that he's gonna be, or is he like threatened that if he's gonna put the team in sort of a negative light, he's gonna be sacked immediately? I don't know. But as long as we have this mentality from the manager and from some of these players coming with excuses, I've seen their interviews after some games. If this type of mentality comes from the owners, we're never gonna be successful. We might win the Conference League, we might be lucky gaining Champions League football, but that's it. We're not gonna win any cups, we're not gonna win Premier League, we're not gonna win Champions League. Now we're gonna end the video on the absolute main point. And this is coming in hand with Maresca and the mentality and selection. And that is that I'm not gonna fully blast and blame some of these players. Nkunku, Sancho, Robert Sanchez, Gusto, even Madueke today, they're getting a lot of heat. And I understand Nkunku's body language and effort is not good at the moment. It's not good. But if we're looking at the lineup, you're gonna understand that some of these guys is being absolutely misprofiled. Nkunku is not a striker, and even Maresca has confirmed it. Sancho doesn't suit Maresca's tactics whatsoever. I talked about that in my last video. Maresca is forcing Sanchez to play in a certain way. He can't be a sweeper keeper. And it's really funny that Maresca is saying to some of these players that they shouldn't play long balls, but then I see them playing long balls. Like, is it that players is obeying the instructions, or is Maresca just instructing the players to play these sort of long balls when they can't execute it? Sanchez cannot play accurate long balls. And when we're trying to play long balls in Nkunku, he's not really a big striker that is known for his hold-up play. Of course he's gonna get intercepted, but then of course Nkunku is the one getting the blame here. Gusto inverting into the midfield. I think he makes the right type of runs, underlapping runs in the attack, because it's so difficult for opposition to track a fullback making an underlapping run, but his execution in the final third is not good. His composure and decision making in a pivot, playing in a pivot as a sort of makeshift midfielder, he just can't do that job at the moment. But then people blaming Gusto and saying he has his worst season at Chelsea. Well, no wonder he has that. If Maresca is forcing him playing as an inverted fullback, when he can't do that position, you're gonna understand how key and important it is that you're playing players in their best position most of the times. You're actually adapting to them. You're playing in a way that suits them. Maresca is a manager that has a philosophy, he has his way, he won't shy away from it, but then as a club, you need to back that manager and give him players that can actually fulfill that philosophy. I would say 50% of the players can do that at the moment, and 50% of the player or 40% of the players cannot. And as long as we're having that type of squad building here at Chelsea by not backing this type of manager that has a philosophy like Maresca, he's not gonna be successful here. It's simple as that. Pep Guardiola is getting every player he needs for his system. Same goes with Arteta. The only thing he's missing is a striker at the moment. Luis Enrique at PSG getting every player he needs for his style of play. And look how they are performing. So some of these players showing poor attitude, lack of effort, but I understand them. They've been constantly misprofiled. They're playing in a club that doesn't have elite mentality. I believe they were sold a dream. They signed to Chelsea believing that they're gonna be surrounded with elite players, leaders, top manager, and we're gonna fight for silverware, but then they're realizing that is not going to happen. That was just a scam, and they on top of that being misprofiled by the manager and can't even play in their natural positions. If Nkunku can't play as a striker, if Gusto can't play as an inverted fullback, maybe you should turn to Josh Achimpong and maybe an academy guy that can actually fulfill that role. Even if it means they are very raw and young players, at least we have players that can fill these roles to some extent. As I said, feel like I'm sounding like a broken record, but imagine, what Tuchel and Conte, these type of managers we have been known with, like, look at their mentality. Like, they will not speak like this after a loss or a draw. They would adapt to the players they have in front of them, and it wouldn't be complete stubborn like Maresca is. Just look at the attack. The attack is not getting better. Sure, we're having lots of shots, but we're not creating enough quality chances. We're continuously spamming crosses, and it doesn't work. When we're having the option to pass, we shoot instead. When we have the option to shoot, we pass instead. When we shouldn't cross, we cross. The attack is all over the place. It's not consistent enough. The attacking patterns do not align with our players consistently. We could be more threatful if we were actually adopting attack and movement that suit these guys. But Maresca is not doing that enough. A bit of a rant video, feel like a broken record, but for me, this is how I'm seeing Chelsea at the moment. This is why I believe players is not performing, why we are inconsistent, and why we are heading in a downward trajectory, even if people do not want to see it. But this is what I believe. Let me know your thoughts in comments down below, and I will happily read it. And next up is Legia in Conference League. Then I forgot who we have in Premier League, but I see you guys for the next video. Hope you enjoy this one, and take care, and Chelsea Explained is out.